Hi everyone, I have some great tips for those of you who bought a house during peak of the market, and let's say you can't afford to live there anymore and you're feeling terrible and you're lost and you're just not feeling good about yourself and you don't know what to do. I want to give you a little bit of hope here. One of the things as a business coach, I was brought in to handle the real estate market when it crashed in the United States many years ago, and my two areas of specialties were actually Florida and Las Vegas, and they got hit probably the hardest. So I learned a lot of lessons through that whole process, especially through coaching, and it was a very tough time. But what I did learn that I want to share with you guys is this: if you bought a house during COVID, and let's say right now you bought it at the peak and the interest rates went up and you're going to lose, let's say, $100,000, it feels like doom and gloom, but the biggest mistake that you're doing is you're only looking at today. You have to think of real estate as a long-term picture, and just because today's real estate decision that you made was not a good one, okay, and you're going to take $100,000 loss, and I know it's terrible, so I don't want to pretend that it's not, but I want you to think for a second. You can't afford that. So if you stop the bleeding, that's the first priority. You stop the bleeding right away and you get rid of the house. The second thing is you may have to move into a rental. But I want you to think for a second. You have a $100,000 loss, you move into a rental, and I want you to think, what would you be saving by moving into that rental? So let's say it's $20,000 a year. So then the big picture is in 5 years, you're gonna wipe that debt clean of $100,000, okay, as opposed to bleeding. So that's the first picture. Or the second picture is this: you wipe out, you live in a rental for 1 to 2 years, you wipe off $40,000 debt, and now you're left with 60. So let's say you save your money, you have a better investment strategy, whatever the case is, you re-enter the market in 2 years. You will eventually make that up if you buy the right purchase in the right area and you go long term. You learn from your mistakes, and let's say 4 years from then, that $60,000 is going to transact again for you. Whether you're Canada or United States, you're in markets that have shown you where the market's going to go. There's a housing crisis in both countries. So we know eventually you're going to make that money up. So even if you stay in a rental for 1 to 2 years and wipe down $40,000 of that 100, that $60,000 will only take probably 4 or 5 years to get back as well. And then it'll probably make more than that. I won't guarantee it, but I will say if you buy the right house and it's affordable, you will make that money back. So even though today's picture looks really doom and gloom, and maybe a lot of real estate agents aren't talking about big pictures or solutions, there is a better rainbow of hope for you. Okay, there is an opportunity for you to take a look and say, most important thing, stop the bleeding. Okay, we all make real estate mistakes, including myself. And this mistake was very, very hard for a lot of people that you didn't see coming. But I also want you to remember that a great real estate agent will sit down with you and they'll carve out a map for you to get that money back at some point through proper choices, better choices perhaps. Okay, but the most important thing is don't beat yourself too much over today. Look at how you can get back on track. Look at decisions that you can be making to stop the bleeding today, but then also come up with a plan that gives you a little bit of hope for the future, because the market will rebound itself back, you will re-enter it again, and the bigger picture of your real estate portfolio will be very positive. You just have to have the right agent, so make sure you interview correctly, make sure you have the right people talking to you, and also make sure you have the right plan to rebuild it at some point. Don't give up hope just because of one decision that you made or one bad choice that you made. You can recover it, you just need a plan.